Well, Moffat's been a while since we did one of these. How have you been?
Yeah, okay. It sounds feels like a long time since we caught up. But yeah, been fine. Just like everybody else, plodding on with work and stuff, and obviously good to have football in some respect back to keep us going.
Well, how have you found the return to football so far?
It's been different for everybody. But yeah, I mean, it's just good to have something back. We've went through various stages of that. Going from we're doing the sort of distance training initially, the individual programs, and then we came in and we're doing the zones, socially distanced zones, which was difficult. But the guys really adapted to that, and we adapted to it as well. And the sessions had to look very different. And then from then progressed obviously into the full contact training, which was a relief to be able to put on what I would regard as a proper session. And now we've hit the friendlies, so it's been a bit of a long road. But it's good to be playing games of football, that's for sure.
Oh, you mentioned those couple of friendlies. Now we're back into it. We've played the under-20 development team in Dumbarton midweek. Have you found them to be good exercises?
Yeah, as I said, just having games of football to look forward to the last few weeks have been good. We've been building towards those games. But again, we got obstacles chucked in the way with the local restriction thing, and certainly not complaining. It just it's something that the country has to go through at the minute. But it ripped up the pre-season plan to an extent. Now that's came off again, and we've hopefully got some things back on track. But like every manager, it's been frustrating and difficult because the games have been a moving target at times. Just thinking you had a game planned and then it's taken away from you, and it upsets the rhythm a wee bit. But on the games themselves, yeah, for the first game back, obviously playing the 20s was a good run out for the guys. We got majority of the squad 45 minutes, and that was good. Just playing a proper game of football was good, and it'll be good for them as well. Young guys did well in spells, and some good new players they've got. So we'll do that. We'll do that again. That was a good exercise. The Dumbarton game, obviously, completely different kettle of fish in terms of the opposition, and it was good in different ways. I said to the guys after the Dumbarton game, I got more from that in terms of we're starting to really have to think about our shape and stuff, and that's no disrespect to the development team at all, but obviously it's a totally different level, and so that was a really good test. But we had several guys unavailable for that game as well, so we were a bit light in numbers. I think we had 7 unavailable, so again that gives some of the young guys a chance to come up, but we started with an experienced team, and it was pretty even first half, and then second half again, partly fitness as well. The match fitness is not there yet, so we lost a few sloppy goals, but yeah, it was pretty good workout. I was pretty happy with it overall.
And you mentioned the squad overall. You've obviously brought in young Liam Harris on loan from Hamilton Accies.
Yeah, so obviously building on the relationship we had with Accies last year with Kyle, and obviously you see Kyle this season, scoring the winner for the first team. I mean, it's just amazing to see that, and that's why they send their guys to clubs like us to have that path and that development. So that was tremendous, and we've obviously kept that relationship with Accies, and they were keen to send Liam in with us. So of course we had a look, and we're happy to have him, and he's another exciting young player, 17 years of age, technically really good player, carries himself well. Reminds me of Kyle in some ways. He's a central midfielder, Liam, and we've been really impressed with him so far. So excited about that one, yeah.
And obviously on the flip side to that, we have lost a couple just due to injury in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's hard because the because the training schedule looks very different from what a normal pre-season would be. You know, I've been trying to be very careful about that. You know, we were very careful when we first brought the guys in not to put anything too intense on them. You know, I'm conscious of muscle injuries and picking things up. We ended up, we picked up a couple of injuries that were kind of freak incidents, really. You know, Burno's one was the very first session we had back in the social distance zones, very first session, which was, you know, unfortunate for Burno because he came in flying fitness-wise from doing his own stuff, and just one where Burno's just planted his foot and he's had a tear in his Achilles, unfortunately, and it's obviously taken a bit of time to heal. But we're fortunate that it was probably the very first session. So Burno's now well on the way to recovery. He's coming along well. He's got his boot off. He's starting to do some rehab. So we're hopeful that we'll have Burno back fairly soon. And then with Cammy McClare, again, just an overstretch at training and a bit of a buckle in his knee, and we were a bit worried on that. Thought it could be a pretty serious one, but again, fairly positive news on that it's a cartilage op that he needs, so it's not as bad as we feared. We're thinking, you know, ACLs and stuff like that. So he's in for an operation in a couple of weeks, and you know, his rehab could be as short as 4 weeks, maybe up to around about 10. So again, not as bad as it could have been with Cammy, and we'll hopefully get him soon. We've had another few niggles. You know, young Ben Cameron's been out for a couple of weeks just with a twisted ankle and things like that we're managing like every other team has to. So it's not been great, but those two pretty serious injuries could have potentially been worse. So just wish the guys well and get them back soon.
Well, you mentioned obviously the later season start this week. We've obviously seen the proposed league structure for the Premier, obviously been split in half. Can I get your reaction to that if possible?
Yeah, it's a bit, you know, it's a bit of an odd format, but I think the correspondence that came out quite rightly said it's odd times we're in, and I actually think what they've done, you know, it's a fairly decent attempt at getting a season played. It means that we've obviously got that first phase where you play all the teams in your half twice, and then you've got the second phase where you play the other group, if you like. I'm assuming the thought is that it potentially gives them a chance to call the season early if needed, but you still have a bit of structure around it. So, listen, David, it's not as ideal, no, but again, if it means we get the league back on and we get some competitive action, then we just go with it. You know, we just need to go with what we've been dealt on that. So I will just hopefully we get it started and make the best of it.
And the club is obviously back in the Let Fans In campaign. I'm sure you'll agree that that's something that we would obviously love to see at some point soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously an absolute fundamental for teams at our level, for all part-time teams, really. We need to have fans there, otherwise things would quickly go downhill from a commercial and financial perspective. So yeah, I mean, we absolutely, we're going to need fans in pretty soon, and that's, you know, it's not being brash or blasé about it. We obviously understand there's going to need to be rules, and things will look very different for fans coming to matches, and there'll need to be rules and protocols and things we need to pass to do that. Understand all that, but purely looking at as manager of a football team, a football club, we need the fans back. Otherwise, they're just not going to work. And it's, you know, it's the same across the board, all the way up part-time level, you know, up to sort of some of the championship teams at the top end of our structure. So I think probably most people will be in agreement that that's got to happen to make football viable. So let's just hope it can happen safely and soon.
And as you mentioned, just how important the fans are to the basic principles of football. I know you want to sort of pay tribute to the fans and their fundraising efforts over the last few weeks and months.
Yeah, I think that's important. You know, I've said in a couple of couple of things I've done for our local press, and certainly the newsletter that went out to our shareholders and stuff. That's important. But yeah, I think it's important to recognise the effort the support have put in, to keep things going through lockdown and through the summer. You've been a big part of that as well, Davey, with the stuff we've been doing on social media. And quite simply, the club would, be in a much worse position if we didn't have that backing. So we are, I look at us, I look at myself as being in a lucky position that, the fan base that we've got and the backing we do have. Certainly look at some of the things, Harkey in particular has been doing, with the last man standing. I think he's done 3 of them since I've been at the club. Again, it's not massive amounts of money, but it's important amounts, that are coming in and keeping us ticking over. And some of the initiatives that Paul Cummins has been involved in as well, driving some of the membership, the UCS membership and all that sort of stuff. All that is absolutely massive to keep the club moving through these times. But also, our sponsors, Clydebank Co-op have continued to back us and be a sponsor. And, the sponsorship draw we did as well, we got a great response to that. So we've been really fortunate, and like I do mean that we've had great responses to everything we've put out so far, and that's been important. You can see other clubs doing the same, and it's been tough, but I've been really sort of buoyed and enthusiastic about the response we've had to those things.